an ID, a valid ID, so I'm in a pickle.
That was Jacksonville resident Dolly Canning earlier this month describing her troubles regarding getting a state-issued ID for medical tests. She couldn't get a new ID without an out-of-state marriage license from a previous marriage. But she couldn't get that marriage license without a state-issued ID. So that's when she reached out to First Coast News for some help. And as On Your Side's Rich Donnelly reports, help is what Dolly Canning got.
Dolly Canning needed a valid ID to get blood work in order to stay on her current medication.
I have to have that medication or I could die.
But despite having nearly a dozen documents that prove who she is, the DMV wouldn't issue her the ID. The League of Women Voters saw our story and referred us to a national nonprofit organization called Vote Riders. Vote Riders normally works for voting rights, but helps eligible voters in the United States attain government identification.
An ID can really unlock a lot of extremely important social and economic and civic opportunities for Americans all across the country.
1 week after our story aired, Vote Riders brought Dolly to the DMV and got her a 60-day identification so she can get the other documents she needs to make her ID permanent.
We're always trying to bring awareness to that an ID is needed for voting, but it's also needed for so many other things in your life. And we're trying to also make sure that we're bridging that gap in access.
It also makes me really inspired and hopeful that we will be able to continue to do this work day in and day out to help every eligible voter American like Dolly get the ID they need.
Dolly has her ID and her medical tests are also scheduled.
It brings me such relief. I can lay down and go to sleep at night and know I have an ID. Thank you so much, First Coast News.
All in a day's work. Reporting in Jacksonville, Rich Donnelly, First Coast News, On Your Side.
Oh, wow, Dolly's cute. If you feel that you need identification assistance from Vote Riders for voters' rights or another reason, you can call the hotline at 844-338-8743. Again, that number is also on our website, which is firstcoastnews.com.
Justin, to our news.